Hey everybody, this is Brant from Nutrition First Coaching, and yes, it's Wild Card Weekend, so hopefully the Chiefs win today. But for Whiteboard Wednesday, we're going to talk about the second general principle when it comes to rapid fat loss and what we call the queen of these three principles. So let's get into it. Let's talk about this general principle and how you can apply it to your life so that if you're trying to lose weight in 2022, you need to know this principle so that you can apply it to your weight loss strategies. All right, let's get into it. Okay, so we're into our second part of our three-part series on the three most important principles when it comes to rapid fat loss, trying to lose fat and maintain as much muscle and lean mass as possible. So this is rule number 2. If you remember back to rule number 1, that was that quantity is the king. So how much we're eating, our total calorie content, is definitely the ruler of our body composition. But if we're not paying attention to this principle, we're going to suffer the consequences. Not only are we not going to feel very good, we're not going to be healthy, we're going to struggle with our body composition, and we're going to struggle to lose body fat or even just mass in general. So number 2 is macronutrients, because they are the queen. And when we talk about macronutrients being the queen, there's 3 macronutrients. You probably heard me harp on all of these multiple times, but of course protein is number 1. Protein does so many good things for us, and this goes down to the very minutia of the quality of the protein, where you're getting it from, how it's sourced, how you absorb it. All that plays a huge role into how important protein is for you and what you're trying to accomplish. It's definitely the most satisfying nutrient out there. It really helps us preserve muscle tissue. And if we're eating good quality proteins with our meals, then we're also going to get this thermic effect. So we're going to get some caloric burn, more so than the other 2 macros. When we're eating protein, you need a lot of protein. I've heard everything from a minimum of 25 or 30 grams per serving to actually kind of start the cycle of what's called muscle protein synthesis, because you need so much of certain amino acids, all the way up to like 50 or so grams per serving. And this depends on your age and how you absorb proteins, how much you get in your total diet, what your goals are, your activity level, what things you like to do in terms of your activity level. And that's what a lot of these macros are going to depend on too. So if you're lifting weights, you need protein to help rebuild muscle. If you're doing things that tear down muscle, longer runs, faster runs, aggressive mountain biking, lifting weights, CrossFit, all those things, you need protein to help rebuild those muscles. So let's move on to number 2. And I will say in here, I give you some general rules. Protein, if you go off of 1 gram per pound of body weight, or ideal body weight, if you have a significant amount of weight to lose, that's a pretty safe number, and you can play with that from there. Fat, I think fat's number 2. And of course, all 3 macros are important, and fat itself, just to get the ratio out of the way, about 0.35 to 0.45 grams per pound of body weight. And again, that's ideal body weight if you're significantly overweight. And this is going to put you in the right range of how much fat you need. Now, fat is really, really highly dependent on the quality of the fats. And if you read the blog that's going to accompany this video, I'll break down all the different kinds of fats for you, and we'll talk more about like saturated, unsaturated, monounsaturated, cholesterol, kind of all those things to do with lipids. But for this video's sake, we're going to talk about fats and how important they are to make hormones, produce hormones, keep us healthy, especially for women. You need this to stay healthy, produce hormones in that childbearing kind of age of your life. You need a lot of good, healthy fats. They will help with decreasing inflammation if you're eating the right high quality kinds of fats. If you're eating the wrong ones, Now you're going the other direction. You're going to increase inflammation. You're going to make everything worse. You're going to have trouble producing hormones. You're going to struggle because all your cells and the lipid layers around them are made out of the fats you're eating. But the other good thing about fats that people don't really know or think that much about is brain health, because they line our neural systems. Our brain loves fat. This helps kind of conduction, that electrical conduction of everything. And if you've ever had a bulletproof coffee, or a version I like to make called it like a smart coffee, it's some saturated fat. It's a couple different kinds of fats. Let's put it that way. Usually some kind of coconut oil, refined kind of thing. And then I like to put a little bit of something that tastes a little better in there, maybe like a collagen protein or even a little bit of protein powder. Mix all that up, drink that first thing in the morning. Don't have anything else for a while, and this will actually keep you pretty full, but man, makes you think clear. You just feel better, brain's functioning better. Now let's move on to carbs. So these guys, they get demonized quite a bit. Carbs are important, and there's a huge ratio, anywhere from like 1 gram per pound of body weight to even up to 4 grams per pound of body weight. And this strictly comes down to your activity level and what you like to do. If you're a weightlifter, if you're a runner, cyclist, anything that requires a pretty decent amount of energy production, then you're going to need a lot of carbohydrates to fuel those activities. Our body prefers carbs as a fuel source. It's the easiest thing to get out of the muscle stores and out of the liver, stored as glycogen. We can break it down quickly. We can use it immediately. There's a lot less processes that have to happen versus burning fat. So that's why our body likes carbs. And the more lean you are, I think this is kind of a good general rule to go by. The more lean you are, the more carbs you can tolerate, the more sensitive you are to insulin, and your body's just going to run better on carbs, especially when you're working out around those times. The more muscle you have, the more glycogen you're going to be able to store, not only in your muscles and in your liver, and then you're going to have more energy available, more fuel available for that too. I even heard somebody say once, if you can see your abdominal muscles, then you should have probably 2 to 3 grams per pound of body weight in carbs, because you're probably pretty highly active and you have pretty good muscle per pound of body weight. So good, a lot of good lean mass on your frame. Carbs are also important for digestion. Fiber is really important for our microbiome and growing healthy bacteria down there, the different types of fiber. So we need that. That all comes from high quality carbs. Veggie sources first, fruits, some of our prebiotic foods. All those things are going to really help with our gut microbiome and how well it's functioning. And kind of like I was saying before, the more muscle, the more carbs you can tolerate, the more glycogen you can store. So rule number 2, or principle number 2 to apply to rapid fat loss, is to put all these things in perspective. The macronutrients, they're the queen for sure. The quality makes a big difference. So you have the quantity dialed in. Now you need to find the quality of these 3 different macronutrients. And I would even add in there that hydration, water being the 4th macronutrient, is going to be super beneficial. One of these videos I'll do maybe the 5th macronutrient, which would be alcohol. But let's stick with these 3 for now. Figure out what works best for you. If you want a little bit of assistance, give me a call, DM me, sign up for a discovery call. Let's strategize about it a little bit. Let's see where you're at. Let's see what's best for you, and let's find something that works well for you so you can have a great 2022. All right, thanks for listening. Please like and subscribe. Share this with somebody if you think they would benefit from it, and go Chiefs.